Okay, today is the reveal to see how much charcoal we got out of here. I ran this last night and I let it burn out on its own and cool down. It had all night to cool down. It's quarter after 8 in the morning and I feel like a kid at Christmas time. So we're going to go ahead and open this thing up and see what we got. All right, we're going to save this. Oh boy. Okay. Well, for the record, I didn't show it. I just showed, I think, one little picture of when I started filling it. But all of that material, all of that wood was chunks, about 3 inches, somewhere like that. And it was filled all the way up to the top of the drum. And now it has reduced to about right there. So it's still a little over half of the original volume. I'll let you take a look and see. There we go. And that's pretty good looking charcoal there. Ooh, look at there. Completely breaking apart. Looks like it was complete pyrolysis. A way of getting this out, I'm just going to dump it over and pull the assembly apart. By the way, this is the... Ooh, that thing's heavy. That's my fire pan, fire pot. It's an old dump truck brake hub. And I was lucky enough to also find a cast iron grate that this was like a drain cover or something that was going to get tossed for whatever reason. It came out of a dumpster. So did the brake hubs. So I just salvaged what I had access to. But it fits nicely down in here, and that holds my material to start the fire. There's my stack. Now, this is the bottom of the stack. I welded a ring at the bottom, about 1 inch off the bottom. That goes through the hole in the bottom of the drum and allows air to move in. The ring seals it so you don't get excess oxygen inside the drum. And then these are the holes that the wood gas flow through into the burn tube. And you can see the discoloration on this tube. That sucker got hot. I was looking at the video from yesterday and realized that when I was taking those shots from overhead, there was a This was all glowing. This was glowing red hot. So that gives you a good indication of just how hot it got in there. And here is what we were left with. Wow. That is 100% charcoal. There is not a piece that I see, and this is from the bottom. The top was completely charred. Let me find a nice big chunk. Look at that. Wow. See, look at that. Just breaks apart. Just exactly like it's supposed to. Now, if you looked at that, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bit of discoloration. I don't know what that's from. Maybe it's from the steel on the tube. Maybe it's from the inside of the drum. I don't know, but look at that. It just breaks right apart. Success! That really worked out really, really well. So by the way, I filled up a wheelbarrow to fill that up, and it was all the way to the top. And then I showed you the volume loss. We got down to about, I don't know, 2/3, and there's no ash. It's charcoal through and through. So I'd say that was a huge success. Huge success. Hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe you learned something. Oh, wait a minute. I was going to tell you about how I built the thing. I referenced the video in the description that I modeled this after. It's not complicated. It's really not. I put a hole. Cameraman, can you see this? Don't move the cam. Don't move it. Just tell me if it's in the shot. Good? Okay. I put a hole. The outside diameter of the stack. The stack is a 4-foot long piece of 1/8 thick, 6-inch diameter steel tubing, not pipe. So it's a lightweight steel tubing. So you got a hole in the bottom. The stack goes in and sets on this ring. You got holes, 2 rows of holes actually. Oh, let me turn it like that. I'll even count them for you. Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So my count on the last video was wrong. There's 12 on the bottom row, all the way around the circumference. And then there's another 12, about a 1/2 inch above that, all the way around the circumference. They're not pretty holes. I cut them out with a plasma torch. I just blew the holes out. Can you see that, cameraman? Okay. So they're not pretty. They don't have to be. I just blew them out. I was a welder fabricator by trade, so I've got a little bit of experience with that. You can use a drill bit, whatever you got on hand. All you're trying to do is get the wood gases from inside the drum to go into that tube and burn. And when they burn, they create heat, and that heat goes out into the drum, into the wood, causing it to release the hydrocarbon gases that are locked into the wood. And you saw what happens yesterday. That was awesome. That was, and I know I use that word a lot. Yeah. But I was really excited about it. It's the first time I got it to do that the way it was supposed to from what I've seen on other videos. And I've seen lots of other videos. Some people will set a big fire, set their drum, put a bunch of wood under it, and have a huge fire, and they get some charcoal like that. I've seen there's a myriad of videos on YouTube showing how it can be done. I referenced that one video from Janji. Life is Easy. That's his channel, and it shows this setup. I use corrugated metal. They used flat metal. I used 1 inch by 24 inch by 25 foot long roll of ceramic blanket. Of course, the drum is like 34 inches tall, so I had to lay out one wrap and secure it with some tape that'll burn off, and then the next one was like 7 inches. I wound up with 32 inches, and then that's what I covered whenever I put the corrugated metal on, so that worked out real good. And the lid, nothing special about the lid. It came with the drum. I cut the opening to fit the pipe, and I think I said yesterday that I had about a 16th of an inch gap around the pipe. Can you see that, Mr. Cameraman? How about now? That's all the gap we've got there. It's not a lot. So whenever you pile the sand or clay or whatever you got laying around, I sourced it from the ditch out in the dirt road, so it's not a big deal. You pile that up on there, it seals it up, and you can move on with your gas production. All right. So, to get things started, when I do this, I pretty much will fill the burn pot, but I don't know what you call this thing. I guess it would be called a burn pot. I don't know, but I'll pretty much fill it up with burnable material. Yesterday I started this on some the only charcoal that I was able to produce from the first run, that whenever I didn't have any insulation on this thing, and it was only about a 4-gallon can, which was pretty much full in here. So you put your material in there, you put your drum up on top of that, center it up. I still got a few pieces left in there. So you center that up. Then you want to take your stack / burn tube. It sets just like that. Now in the video that I learned how to do this from, they packed mud or put mud around that ring on the bottom so that when you set it, it has a seal. I didn't do that yesterday, and it looks like it worked out just fine. So you put that in there. You start throwing your wood chunks in here. I will mention that when I did it the first time, the wood that I put in here was like firewood length. It was, in fact, hold on just a second, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this is a good example of what we put in the first time. And we turned it upright, stacked it around. Now, I'm not saying this won't work. I'm just saying that it didn't work the first time without insulation. So I changed a couple of things. First thing I did was I put insulation on the outside of the drum. Second thing I did is we took a chop saw and we chopped up our material into, pieces about this size. And from what I've seen, that really can make a difference. All right, so I've touched on that. It's really not much more than that. You pack your material in. A quick note, if your tube is a little bit off center, when you go to put your lid on, it won't fit. So you'll want to pay attention to how your tube is centered. I've got a remedy for that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build a ring that will fit inside the drum with about 3 spokes attached to the tube. So that portion will be attached to the tube so that it keeps it aligned. I can throw anything I want to in there and this will still be aligned. But I haven't done that yet. Maybe that's coming out on a future video. Anyway, load it up. Slide your lid on there. Knock it down. Seal it up. I use that lid, excuse me, that lid clamp. Clamp it down real tight. And then I start throwing some clay loam, some sand, whatever I've got. Throw that on the top. I'm over here. Thank you, Mr. Cameraman. Throw that on top. That seals this gap up here. The ring seals the outside, which it's not fitted right now. I have to actually bang it down on there. And once that's done, then I start dropping some kindling, small pieces of scrap wood, things that can burn, wood that can burn, but I don't want to turn it into charcoal. So that could be, lumber scraps, pieces of limbs, just whatever. Now, and you don't have to pack it full. You've already got your firebox filled up. You drop that stuff down in there, and some tinder, maybe some paper shavings. I used that. I think that was one of the pictures that was on the last video. Threw some paper shavings down in there, light up a paper towel and throw it in there and let it start burning. So it'll burn down the tube. Those embers will drop down onto the material in the firebox. And when that lights up and starts heating up the drum, after about, I want to say at about the 1 hour mark, after lighting it, it had gotten hot enough in there and started producing wood gas and became self-sustaining. And after that, you don't have to put any more wood in there. At one point, I don't think I caught it on video. At one point, it was almost there, but then the flames went out from the bottom and it started puffing white smoke. And I thought, well, that's odd. So I took a really slender piece of my firewood over there, a piece about that long, about big around his 2 fingers. Dropped it down in there. As soon as it hit the coals in the bottom and lit up into a flame, all that smoke went away. Then it started again. I had to do that twice. After that last time, there wasn't no more. It was self-sustaining, and you saw what was going on. So that's what I did. That's how I did it. I don't see any reason why I can't do it again. And in my area, I don't have to source, high grade, fantastic wood. I can, I don't know if you've seen in the shots around here, but we got lots and lots of sweet gum. And I looked it up. Sweet gum is actually a hardwood. It's plentiful in this area. And I can source all the sweet gum I want to and cut, I can cut a 3-inch sapling and start cutting it up into 3-inch long pieces, and I'll wind up with lumps like that after it's all said and done. Of course, it'll have to dry out, because if it doesn't dry out before you start, it takes longer for the firebox heat to drive the moisture out of the material. And of course, that would take a lot longer. All of this wood was completely dry. It had been in our woodshed for a while. It wasn't out in the weather, so it was completely dry, easy to do. All right, that's all I got. I hope you learned something, and I hope you can take a shot at this. It's satisfying. We can take this lump charcoal, and we can cook on it. We can use it for lots of things. Have a good day.